ladies and gentlemen. I want to speak to you today about something we all experience: storms, not the kind that pass by in a few minutes or the kind that change the weather. I'm talking about those life storms, the struggles, the challenges, the moments when everything seems to be falling apart. Life is unpredictable, and one of the greatest truths we all face is that things can change in an instant. You can be moving along, feeling like everything is in place: your job, your health, your relationships, your plans, and then out of nowhere, something shifts. A phone call, a diagnosis, an unexpected loss, or even a financial setback. The ground beneath you feels as if it's been pulled away, and suddenly you find yourself lost in the storm. What happens in those moments? How do we respond? That's when the true test of our character begins. Life's unpredictability doesn't just come when you're prepared for it, it comes when you least expect it. And it doesn't care about your plans, your dreams, or your aspirations. It doesn't ask for permission before it throws a curveball at you. It just happens. That's why no matter how much we plan, how much we try to control, we can never fully predict what lies ahead. We can try to create stability, to build a life where everything seems to align perfectly. But there are forces in the world that are beyond our understanding. A job loss, the sudden departure of a loved one, or even an unforeseen global event can disrupt everything you thought was certain. It's like sailing on calm waters, the horizon clear, and then without warning, a storm clouds your path, winds howling, waves crashing. Everything you thought you knew and everything you thought was secure can be swept away in an instant. And there's no warning. In those times, it's easy to feel lost, confused, and even hopeless. You want to know why this is happening to you. You want answers. You want to understand how you ended up in this place of uncertainty. But the truth is, there are no guarantees. You can't predict the storms of life. You can't always prepare for what comes next. And as difficult as it may be to accept, sometimes the best thing we can do is to acknowledge that we don't have control over everything. But here's the key, though: you can't control the storm. You can control how you respond to it. You can choose to trust, to hold on, and to keep moving forward despite the turbulence. Life's unpredictability doesn't have to define you. How you choose to face it will. Faith is often misunderstood as something that is most valuable when life is smooth, when the sun is shining and the path ahead is clear. It's easy to have faith when everything is going well, when your job is stable, your relationships are strong, and your health is in good condition. In those moments, faith feels almost effortless, like a comforting reassurance that everything is aligned just as it should be. But true faith, the kind that really shapes us, reveals itself not in times of ease, but in times of struggle and uncertainty. When the storm rages, when the winds howl, and when it feels like everything you know is coming apart, that's when your faith matters the most. It's in these moments of chaos and confusion that the true strength of faith is tested. Faith isn't just about believing that things will work out in your favor. It's about trusting in something greater than yourself when everything else seems uncertain. It's about knowing deep in your soul that no matter how fierce the storm, there is something bigger than your circumstances holding you steady. When you find yourself in the midst of a trial, whether it's a personal loss, a failure, or a situation where you feel powerless, faith is what helps you keep going. It's not always easy. It's not always immediate. Faith takes work, and sometimes it means holding on by the smallest thread of hope, even when you don't see a way out. It means walking through the darkness without the certainty of what lies ahead, but still believing that you're being led to something greater than your current struggle. Faith is the quiet whisper that says, "I will trust even when I don't understand." It's the strength to stand tall when everything inside you feels like crumbling. It's not about having all the answers or knowing how the story will end, but about continuing to move forward in trust, even when the outcome is unclear. Faith calls on you to believe that the storm, though intense and overwhelming, will not last forever. It tells you that even in the darkest moments, there's a light ahead that you may not yet see. The power of faith lies not in the absence of difficulty, but in the courage to endure through it. It teaches you that even when everything seems to be falling apart, there is something that remains unshaken. Faith helps you find your footing in the chaos and provides you with the strength to rise, to keep walking, to keep trusting, even when the storm is still raging. In life, we often view storms as interruptions, as unwelcome forces that throw us off course. We ask ourselves, why me, and wonder why we must endure such difficult moments. But what if these storms aren't just random events or tests of endurance? What if they have a deeper purpose, a greater meaning that we cannot always see in the midst of the chaos? Every storm has a purpose. It may not always be clear at the time, but the struggles we face in life often serve as powerful tools of transformation. The hard moments, the ones that seem like they will break us, are the very moments that refine us. Just as gold is purified in fire, our character is shaped in the storms of life. We are tested, stretched, and challenged in ways we never imagined. And while we may not understand the reason behind the pain, in time, we often come to see that the struggle was not in vain. God uses the hardest moments to shape us. Think about how a sculptor chisels away at a block of marble. The process is rough, the blows may seem harsh, but the sculptor sees the finished masterpiece within the rock. Similarly, when we face adversity, it can feel like life is chiseling away at us, our patience, our strength, our sense of peace. But in the end, we are shaped into someone more refined, someone stronger, someone who has been through the fire and come out the other side. It is in the storms that we are taught lessons that we might never learn in calm waters. These lessons might be about ourselves, about our limits, our resilience, and our capacity for grace in the face of hardship. They might be about others, about love, compassion, and forgiveness. The storm often reveals truths that we might not see when everything is going well. It shows us what we are truly made of, what we can endure, and how much we can grow. Moreover, storms build character. They teach us perseverance, resilience, and courage. Without challenges, there is no growth. Without the storm, we would never know how strong we are or how much we are capable of overcoming. These moments force us to dig deep, to find strength and faith that we didn't know we had. They build our endurance and teach us how to trust, how to lean into something greater than ourselves, and how to keep moving forward when everything seems to be falling apart. So while storms may be uncomfortable, even terrifying, remember this: there is purpose in the storm. It may be hard to see it right now, but the lessons you learn, the strength you build, and the person you become because of the storm are invaluable gifts. And in time, you'll look back and realize that it was through the storm that you became the person you were always meant to be. Trusting God in the storm does not mean that the storm will never come. It does not mean that you won't face hardship or experience difficulty. In fact, trusting God often means you will encounter challenges, obstacles, and even moments when it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. What trusting God in the storm does mean, however, is that in the midst of these challenges, you will find the strength to endure and persevere. It means that though the winds may howl and the waves may crash, you will have the fortitude to stand firm and come out stronger on the other side. Resilience is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to withstand it. It's not about being unaffected by hardship. It's about being able to rise time and time again, no matter how many times you fall. Life will test you. It will throw challenges your way that feel insurmountable. There will be moments when you feel broken, when you wonder how you'll keep going. But in those moments, the strength of resilience fueled by faith becomes your greatest ally. When you trust God during these trials, you tap into a strength that is greater than your own. You learn that you do not have to face the storm alone. God's presence, His peace, His guidance are available to you, even when the path ahead seems unclear. The challenges you face do not define you. How you respond to them does. Resilience comes not from the absence of pain, but from the decision to move forward in faith, even when everything feels uncertain. With God's strength, resilience becomes a process of growth. Every storm you endure adds to your strength. Every difficulty faced builds your character. It is through hardship that you begin to discover who you truly are. You find courage you didn't know you had, and strength that rises from the depths of your spirit. The storm may shake you, but it will not destroy you. You will come out on the other side stronger, more capable, and more connected to the God who walked with you through the darkness. Trusting God in the storm doesn't mean the storm will be easy or that the road will be without struggle. But it means that no matter what you face, you can endure. You can rise because God's strength is greater than any obstacle you will ever encounter. And through each challenge, you will become more resilient, more prepared for whatever comes next, and more anchored in the unshakable truth that you are never truly alone. When the storm hits, when life seems to be unraveling around you, doubt has a way of creeping in. It's natural, even human, to question what's happening, to wonder why things are going wrong. You might find yourself asking, why is this happening to me? Why isn't God answering my prayers? Doesn't He care about my pain in those moments? Doubt can feel overwhelming, as if the weight of uncertainty is too much to bear. It's easy to lose sight of hope and to question whether there's any purpose to the suffering you're enduring. But here's the truth: doubt is a part of the human experience. It's not a sign of weakness or failure. In fact, it's a natural reaction to hardship and struggle. Even the most faithful among us have times when they question, when they wonder where God is in the midst of the storm. And that's okay. Doubt doesn't disqualify you from faith, it's a part of the journey. What matters is what you do with that doubt. Doubt will come. It's inevitable, but you don't have to let it control you. In fact, doubt can be the very thing that drives you closer to God if you allow it to. It's in those moments of uncertainty that you must make a conscious choice to fight doubt with conviction. You may not see the bigger picture, you may not understand why things are happening the way they are, but you can still hold on to the belief that God has a plan, even when you don't see it yet. Faith isn't about having all the answers or knowing exactly how everything will turn out. It's about trusting in God's purpose, even in the absence of understanding. When doubt sets in, you have a choice. You can choose to focus on the storm, on the questions, on the fear, or you can choose to remind yourself that God is with you, that His plan is greater than your understanding, and that His purpose will prevail. When we find ourselves in the midst of a storm, it can feel as if the darkness will never end. The winds howl, the rain falls relentlessly, and it seems as though nothing will ever be the same again. In those moments, it's easy to lose hope, to feel as though the storm will last forever. But the truth is, storms are temporary. They are part of a cycle, and no matter how fierce they may seem, they will eventually pass. The clouds may be dark now, but they will clear, and in time the sun will shine through once again. This is the promise we hold on to when we trust in God, the light beyond the storm. When everything seems bleak, when the path ahead feels uncertain, we can take comfort in knowing that God's presence is with us, even in the darkest moments. He doesn't abandon us in the storm, rather He walks with us through it, providing strength, peace, and guidance when we need it most. And when the storm finally clears, we emerge not only with the gift of survival, but with a greater sense of peace and understanding. There is something profoundly powerful about the light that follows the storm. It is not just a return to normalcy, but a transformation. When the storm passes, we often find that we are not the same as we were before. The storm may have been painful, but it has taught us something about ourselves. It has revealed strengths we didn't know we had and deepened our trust in God's faithfulness. We may look back at the storm and realize that, though it was difficult, it was necessary for our growth. It cleared away the things that were weighing us down, preparing us for something greater. Trusting God during the storm doesn't mean that we won't experience pain or uncertainty. It means that we have the assurance that no matter how dark the clouds may seem, the sun will eventually break through. The light that follows the storm is not just about relief from the pain, it's about the peace that comes from knowing that we have been carried through the storm by a loving and faithful God. And when that light shines through, we find that we are stronger, more grounded, and more at peace than we were before. The storm is only temporary, and the light that follows is eternal. When we trust in God, we can rest in the knowledge that, no matter what storm we face, the light will always shine through in the end. As we face the storms of life, let us remember that they are not the end of our journey, but part of the process that shapes us into who we are meant to be. Trusting in God during the storm does not mean we won't face challenges, but that we will find the strength to endure and emerge stronger on the other side. The storms may test us, they may shake us, but they will never break us if we hold on to our faith. Every storm, no matter how fierce, serves a purpose refining our character, teaching us resilience, and drawing us closer to the divine plan that awaits. In times of doubt, when the clouds seem darkest and the winds blow hardest, remember that the light beyond the storm is waiting. The storm will pass, and with perseverance, we will reach that light stronger, wiser, and more at peace than before. Our faith, our trust in God is the anchor that will carry us through. So as you walk through the storm, keep your head high, your heart strong, and your trust firm, knowing that God's plan is always unfolding, and the victory that lies ahead is worth every step you take. When the storm is over, you will not only be standing, you will be standing taller. Trust God in the storm and know that He will lead you to a place of peace, purpose, and victory. So whatever storm you're in right now, hold on. Trust that God is right there with you in the middle of it all. He's not leaving you alone. He's strengthening you, preparing you for something greater. And when that storm passes, you'll stand taller, stronger, and more ready than ever for whatever comes next. Trust God in the storm, because that trust, it will carry thank you.